All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We're back with another video. I'm back with vinyl finds this time. It's been a while since I've shown any records. It's been a lot of CD boxings. It's that time of year. So I've got a stack of records to show, and we'll see how long this video goes. But recently, met up with Eve, Miss Lady Soul in Montreal. I don't know if you've seen the video on my YouTube channel of our VC meetup. Had a great time with Eve, record shopping. I was in Montreal visiting my daughters, and also that week I was there, I was able to go to the International Jazz Festival in Montreal, which I've heard about for many years, never had the chance to go, but saw one performance, and it was the Emmylou Harris Trio, if I'm pronouncing her name properly, and this is a Rhythm de Passage, and this is a jazz trio, instrumental, really laid-back jazz. She's an amazing piano player and a great band, great trio. I do have a picture from that show on my Instagram page. You can check that out. But picked this up at the show, and yeah, it was nice to see something on vinyl. And 180 gram. It's a really nice jazz record. So if you're not familiar with this artist, worth checking out the Emmylou Harris Trio, and this is Rhythm de Passage. And this trio has been around for a few years, but I was not familiar with this artist initially. So very nice, very just nice laid-back jazz for sure. Was able to pick up Rory Gallagher's Cleveland Calling Part 2. This was a Record Store Day release, and in my area, it didn't come out. Of course, it was available in a number of record stores, but it wasn't available where I live, so I didn't think I'd come across it, but I was able to come across it, and yeah, I was happy to pick it up. This is a radio broadcast from Cleveland Radio, and this one, as the hype sticker says, is the lost 1972 Electric Live radio sessions featuring Messin' with the Kid, used to be in a laundromat, 180 gram heavyweight vinyl, and it's terrific. And there's no padding with any interviews or anything like that, and was pretty happy to pick that one up. Suzi Quatro, there's a picture of this on my Instagram channel, but this is Suzi Quatro and Live and Kickin'. This is a double live album that initially was only available overseas. I want to say Japan or Australia that it was only available. If you want some great Suzi Quatro live, this is a terrific album. Love her version of Roxy Roller on here. It's solid from start to finish. Really great. Well recorded Suzi Quatro Live and Kickin'. There you go. This is an album that's been staring me in the face for a while. The Incredible Bongo Band and Bongo Rock. So as you can see, this is obviously a reissue. The Incredible Bongo Band, limited edition. Just that, you know, bongo rock. And this is on silver splattered vinyl, which is kind of silvery, but there you go. It was one of those albums, you know, I remember when the song came out back in the early 70s. It's, you know, it's just that, it's that roller skating favorite kind of song that you hear roller skating. But yeah, I mean, it's just that great instrumental. And of course, the bongo rock seems to turn up in a lot of either remixes or sampled a lot. Yes, the bongo rock, and this does have a Canadian connection. As I recall, it was recorded in Canbase Studios in Vancouver. So there you go, the Incredible Bongo Band and Bongo Rock. Finally picked up some Dead Kennedys. Of course, this is the classic Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. And this says the classic album of California hardcore remastered from original studio tapes includes double-sided poster, which I thought, wow, cool, a double-sided poster. That's kind of nice in terms of this reissue for this album. But the double-sided poster, well, here's the vinyl, and just in a straightforward paper sleeve. There's the vinyl, and I'm thinking, you know, a big double-sided poster. Big double-sided CD size poster. Yeah, I was a little surprised about that. But other than that, of course, you know, it's Dead Kennedys. It's classic California punk. Didn't have any Dead Kennedys in my collection, so I was happy to pick that up. Okay, some obscure Canadiana. This is a band called New Potatoes. And this is a Canadian kind of country rock or country folk style. This was their only album. I mean, it's not bad. The vocals aren't great on this album, but this was their only one on Capitol, and from 1973. So the band New Potatoes, kind of country rock, as you can see, you know, indicative of that sort of early 70s sound. Not bad, but not great. Chalk Circle is a band, a Canadian band, I think very underrated. They had that sort of U2, Simple Minds kind of sound. April Fool, this was their, I want to say their debut EP. There's 6 tracks on here, so it's not quite a full-length album, but the songs are, you know, they're fairly lengthy, so it kind of feels like an album, but it's actually an EP on Duke Records. And this came out in 1986. April Fool is the big one from this, and Me, Myself, and I. Chalk Circle still get radio play today on some of their classic rock stations, but Chalk Circle and The Great Lake. If you like that kind of 80s sound, worth checking this band out. Blind By, a band I was not familiar with, Boxer. This is a band that featured Tim Bogart, and this was a UK band. You know, nice harmonies, nice sound, nice rock overall, and this was the UK cover. There was a different cover released in North America that had more of a sort of a boxer kind of thing going on, and this is the album Absolutely. A little bit worn on the cover, but other than that, plays well, and yeah, an interesting band to pick up. Remember Big Star 1000 talking about this particular album. Of course, very familiar with the artist Adrian Belew. Of course, played with Frank Zappa, with Talking Heads, and of King Crimson fame. I've never been big on his vocals, but I like his sound overall. I mean, a great and very interesting guitar player. His vocals don't always sit well with me, but you know, having said that, this is really, it's a great album. It's very indicative of Adrian Belew, but absolutely fascinating. So I was really happy to pick this up, and a good recommendation from Big Star 1000. Picked this one up for $5. Couldn't believe my luck. Anthony Phillips, and this could be a case where, unless you closely read the hype sticker, many not familiar with Anthony Phillips, who is an original member with Genesis, and this is his solo album, The Geese and the Ghost. And the record's in great shape. It didn't, I believe it came with an inner sleeve that's not included on this one, and it didn't originally have this hype sticker, so I don't know if this is assume a later pressing or perhaps a North American pressing where they're kind of trying to hype the Genesis thing. It says, ex-Genesis guitarist goes solo with friends Phil Collins and Michael Rutherford of Genesis, Anthony Phillips. And then it's also translated in French below that, so obviously a North American release. Phil Collins does a number of vocals on here. Mike Rutherford's on here. I understand that this was going to be a sort of Anthony Phillips and Mike Rutherford release, but Mike Rutherford couldn't fully commit to the project at the time. But yeah, Phil Collins is on here, and yeah, there you go. And also John Hackett is on here as well, who is Steve Hackett's brother. So quite the Genesis connection there. So really happy to pick this up. I never thought I would come across this album, or at least for $5 for sure. Okay, some Dave Edmonds. This is the best, simply the best of Dave Edmonds, and this is on the Swan Song label. And so this is a great early Dave Edmonds with tracks like Girls Talk, and keep forgetting he does a version of Queen of Hearts. Great stuff. Love Dave Edmonds, and yeah, on the Swan Song. I managed to pick this up for $5. This was quite a surprise. Mike Oldfield and the album Incantations. And this is a double album of Mike Oldfield. He was going through, I believe, some controversial therapy at the time of this album's release, but it's solid Mike Oldfield, and really enjoyed picking that up, especially for $5. Stone Bolt, a Canadian band. Now, the cover is pretty worn on this one. I hummed and hawed if I was going to pick this one up, but I pulled the trigger, picked it up. Stone Bolt from the West Coast, I believe. Generally a nice radio-friendly sound from the late 70s, early 80s. This is on Parachute label. The big hit from this that still gets some airplay is I Will Still Love You, a nice ballad, sappy ballad. But the rest of the album is quite good. They had a really nice sound, really nice vocals, nice harmonies, generally good sound overall, but there you go, Stone Bolt. And a striking cover, unfortunately quite a damaged cover. So World Party. This is a World Party and Private Revolution, and this features Carl Wallinger, who was a member of the Waterboys, left the band, formed his own band, and it's pretty much almost like Mike Scott's pretty much the Waterboys. Carl Wallinger is pretty much World Party. But some great tunes on here. Ship of Fools was a big hit on this one, and was really happy to pick this up. World Party, Private Revolution. So again, 80s kind of sound. This, I think, came out in, I want to say, 1986, something around there. There you go. Here was a Blind Buy, a band I was not familiar with at all. This is Goose Creek Symphony and Worlds of Ernest. I guess this band has a few albums out. As you can see, it has that sort of country rock, kind of almost bluegrass influence, and this has a nice, really matted cover. I'm gonna have to give this one a few more spins. There was an interesting cover on here. They do a cover of Mercedes-Benz. The Janis Joplin track is on here, but generally nice sound overall with Goose Creek Symphony. I'll have to check out some of their other albums. What can you say about Tangerine Dream? Finally own a vinyl copy of Stratosphere. Tangerine Dream, of course. Elven Bishop. You don't see too much Elven Bishop showed on the vinyl community, and this is Live and Raising Hell. And I remember when this live album came out in Capricorn Records. So the Capricorn's the same label for Allman Brothers and some of that classic Southern rock. The big hit, of course, a live version on this one of Fooled Around and Fell in Love. That's Mickey Thomas is on lead vocals, and he would go on to sing with Jefferson Starship or whatever you want to call the other band. But it's fun stuff. Elven Bishop and Raising Hell. Okay, Pat Benatar and Get Nervous. This features the track Shadows of the Night, which I think is a great single that was written by D.L. Byron, and this was actually a sealed copy. So I was, enjoyed picking that up. Okay, I've never seen this film. And the soundtrack, my goodness, this is the soundtrack to the movie Zachariah, which I think is described as like a new style Western or like a bizarre Western. I don't know if this is way before the term steampunk or something like that, but you can almost describe it that way. But check out the artists on the soundtrack. And I've seen some clips from the movie. This is a bizarre film. Country Joe and the Fish, James Gang, Doug Kershaw, Alvin Jones is listed, but I don't think he's actually featured on the soundtrack. He acts in the movie and he does some drum work in the film, but I don't think he's, unfortunately, he's not featured on the soundtrack. The downside is there's a lot of instrumental music from this movie, which doesn't quite work. But having said that, there's a nice sprinkling of some of the other artists, Country Joe. And interesting, the movie also features Don Johnson, who will go on, of course, Miami Vice fame, but a very early film for Don Johnson. You can see some clips on YouTube. This really looks like a bizarre film, Zachariah. This came out, had to be in the early 70s, something like that. Really different. The soundtrack's not so radically different, but the movie, little different. The Best of Gil Scott-Heron. Yes, please pick this up for $5. I couldn't believe my luck. You know, and this feature is just everything that you're pretty much gonna need. Johannesburg, the revolution will not be televised. Fantastic. Very kind of 80s look to the cover and everything like that, but you know, features classic songs. Okay, can't get enough of Joan Armatrading, and this is Steppin' Out, another great Joan Armatrading album recorded live in North America. Love Joan Armatrading. This was kind of a blind buy. It's interesting sometimes with when they say music that's, you know, electronic music, and often sometimes it's very classically influenced, which is fine, but sometimes when I'm looking for something that's electronic music or describing as being a little, you know, off-center, I'm looking for something different and something unique. Well, I did find it with this. I don't know if you're familiar with this artist. This is Subotnick, and his name is Morton Subotnick. And this is on the Columbia label. This is Until Spring, created on the Electric Music box. Side 1 is called The Beginning, side 2 is called Conclusion. And it's hard to even say that you can describe this as musical. This is really bizarre, just weird musical electronic sounds, if you will. And on a Columbia Odyssey label that I was not familiar with. This came with the original inner sleeve, which is kind of neat. But on the Columbia Odyssey label, which I've never seen before. So there you go. If you're looking for something quite different, you can certainly check out Michael Subotnick. Until Spring, and quite the cover there. Okay, oh, more Joan Armatrading. This is Joan Armatrading and To the Limit. And I love the UK Dennis the Menace or Beano comic book there in the corner. Just love Joan Armatrading. Artist I've been enjoying seem to be finding Ernestine Anderson, and this is Live Concord to London. She's just got a great sound, you know, great vocalist, that sort of jazzy bluesy thing going on. Worth checking out. Okay, this was a thrift store find. This is We 5 and You Were on My Mind. Of course, You Were on My Mind is the Sylvia Tyson or Ian and Sylvia song. But We 5 was the band that had the big hit with it. And of course, as you can see, the cover's not in great shape. The album plays pretty well. Indicative of this time, I think this came out, I want to say 1966 on A&M Records, but a lot of sounds like, you know, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, Softly As I Leave You, Cast Your Fate to the Winds, that, you know, Can't Help Falling in Love, that sort of really radio-friendly, middle-of-the-road kind of stuff. But I do like their rendition of You Were on My Mind. It's not too bad, but yeah, I was happy to pick this up. But the cover, not in great shape, but thankfully the album's okay. Atomic Rooster. Now, if you're not familiar with this one, this is Death Walks Behind You. This is the North American cover. The UK cover is much different, a lot more interesting artwork, although I do kind of like this. You know, if you're going to go with the whole rooster kind of thing, Atomic Rooster, that does look kind of cool. Just love Atomic Rooster, love their sound. Just terrific. So very happy to pick that up on Elektra. Focus, Dutch Masters, so basically the best of the band Focus, and of course this features Hocus Pocus, and I do love this cover. I just think it's great, sort of take off on, you know, Dutch Masters, or it makes me think of like a cigar box, a selection of their finest recordings, 1970 to 1973. Good stuff. Okay, how about Amos Garrett, Doug Sam, and Gene Taylor? This is a nice, predominantly Canadian kind of blues album, and on Stony Plain Records, which is an absolutely amazing Canadian blues label out of Alberta, Stony Plain Records. And, you know, Gene Taylor, a great piano player, just a nice combo of blues players. You know, another solid album on Stony Plain Records for sure. Okay, finally, I picked up a vinyl copy of Goddamn Old Cosmic Blues Again, Mama Janis Joplin. Now, this is a later copy because the original, as I recall, did not have this on it. And I don't usually like later pressings because they often, you know, with the covers, or they're putting extra things or taking things off. I actually like this cover with the R. Crumb lettering because it kind of links it nicely to Cheap Thrills, so I don't mind that, having that on the cover. And of course, I think this is really a solid album. You know, To Love Somebody, and I love the band that, you know, that she was bringing in with more of the horns and that sort of thing going on. I mean, it's a solid album. And Try, oh my gosh, you know, just front to back, it's great. But as I say, I kind of like this album cover with this included, with the R. Crumb lettering. Okay, Emmylou Harris. I don't have a lot of Emmylou Harris, but I'm starting to, like, when I see some Emmylou on vinyl, you know, if it's reasonably priced, I'll definitely pick it up for sure. Emmylou Harris and Luxury Liner. And this is a lovely album, and with her version of Poncho and Lefty on here. Really nice. Emmylou Harris. Okay, Phil Collins. no jacket required. Didn't have this on vinyl. I don't know what you can say about this. Not my favorite Phil Collins album. It is worth it though for Take Me Home. That is, it's a great track. It's a great closer track featuring Peter Gabriel on backing vocals, which is kind of cool. But it's a little too designed for dance or for radio for my tastes. But having said that, it's Phil Collins. But it is worth it for Take Me Home. Okay, how about some Bonnie Raitt? We've got Bonnie Raitt and Green Light. I love picking up early Bonnie Raitt albums. I don't know, she's just, just great, a great guitarist, a great vocalist. And there's always just, it's just fun music generally, and always some interesting covers, or at least cover songs, cover versions, and yeah, just love Bonnie Raitt. Okay. Joan Baez, and this is the best of Joan Baez, called The First 10 Years on Vanguard, and I was pleased to pick this one up. This is a double album that, again, focuses on Joan Baez Vanguard years, but this was open, but it was still in the shrink. But it was kind of open, and this includes a 12-page color photo history. So everything is included with this, with quite a striking photo. I wouldn't have thought that they would pick the Woodstock photo for the inside of Joan Baez best of, but this on Vanguard with the original inner sleeves, like that, and then it also does include this very nice booklet that's included. If I can just show you that, it even has this included. This is a Vanguard, and this is definitely an American release. This includes the Joan Baez songbook that you can pick up or mail away for. So it's got that, and let me see if I can find the booklet in here to show you. Oh, there it is. And a very nice booklet that's included. Got all of this on the Vanguard label, but quite comprehensive. Hopefully you can see all that. But yeah, all in great shape. And oh gosh, I don't know the year that this came out. I want to say, early 70s it has to be. For Vanguard, yeah, it doesn't really say, but there you go. Joan Baez. Okay, and just a couple more. Odd find. This is I want to say, is it a French release on this? This features Big Joe Turner, Buck Clayton, Stuff Smith, and Memphis Slim. Some live recordings, but it's got Big Joe Turner and his All-Stars, Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Just an odd sort of, and it's listed as, a jazz album, but it's definitely more of a blues or rhythm and blues kind of album. But yeah, just an odd find there. BT Express, love picking up BT Express. I think I've got pretty much most of their 70s output now. This is on Columbia and BT Express and 1980. Just love the funkiness of this group. Again, the back's maybe a little bit worn, yeah, but the album plays okay. And last but not least, picked this up at a thrift store. I remember this album as a kid. This album was in my family record collection. My mom was a fan of Tom Jones, and still is. This is Tom Jones and Tom on the London label. I think this might have been just a North American release. Interesting listening to this again. Love the first side. I Can't Turn You Loose, Polk Salad Annie, Proud Mary, Sugar Sugar Venus, and I Thank You. That's all on side one. But then side two goes for the ballads like Without Love, If I Ruled the World, The Impossible Dream, Let There Be Love, that sort of thing. So side two was okay, but side one is absolutely terrific. And again, you do forget about that real kind of R&B rock and roll side of Tom Jones. And yeah, so I was happy to pick this album and that sort of iconic cover. Okay, so that's going to do it. Thanks so much for dropping by, and we'll chat again. Take care. Bye-bye.